This ruler is a calculator and it sent astronauts to the moon. So before we all grew up using a pocket calculator in elementary school that was probably branded Texas Instruments, there wasn't really a quick way of doing calculations. The first well-known calculator was the abacus, but that could only do the basic four functions like addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. And then in the 1600s came a brilliant English mathematician by the name of William Ottard, and he went on to invent slide rule. And it worked like this. First thing you may notice is all of these scales on the left side. The scales have a different purpose, like A and B are used for square and square roots, but we will be using C and D for the multiplication and division. So let's go ahead and make the calculation of 1.4 times 1.65. I slide the number 1 on the C scale to align with 1.4 on the D scale. Then all we do is move the transparent cursor to the second number we are multiplying with, which is 1.65. Our result will be the number in the D scale as pointed out by the cursor, showing us around 2.31, which is pretty much the same number that we could get on any other calculator that we have today. So how does this connect with astronauts in the moon? You see, slide rule didn't take off until the 1800s, until the general population began getting more and more educated and started doing higher level calculations. Unlike the abacus, slide rule can calculate on a logarithmic scale and also do trigonometric functions with pretty good accuracy. Engineers throughout the years began mastering slide rule to the point where they could do complicated calculations within mere seconds. Then, when NASA was created in 1958, a bunch of engineers from various aerospace programs who were highly likely to already be using slide rule began designing everything needed for the Apollo 11 mission. And in 1969, just 11 years later, the Apollo 11 mission was ready for its first flight. And just as the Apollo 11 mission took off, right before it began its descent on the moon, Buzz Aldrin pulled out his trusty slide rule and began making final calculations. And that same $10 slide ruler that Buzz Aldrin used on that mission would later go ahead and sell for over $77,000 at auction. By the beginning of the 1970s, the first portable pocket-sized calculator was invented, as well as large-scale computers, and slide rule was obsolete by the end of the decade. The one I am currently holding in my hand is one of the last ones that was ever manufactured in the Soviet Union. Although slide rule is no longer used, this simple system helped create thousands of different inventions that got us through World War I and World War II, and these inventions still impact our lives today. What's crazy to think about is that the thing that a 7-year-old could use to add up apples is the same thing that sent the first men to the moon.